I'm Hayley Solich from Upfront Training and Motivation, and welcome to the Kaleidoscope Effect Program, where you shift your focus to change your world. I love the word focus. Focus is just such a great word, and when you understand how it works in our lives, you're going to love the word focus too. If you imagine that we have a vehicle, which is called ourselves. In that vehicle we have passion, which is the fuel that gets our engine pumping. We have a steering wheel, which is our purpose, which directs us forward. We have a destination. That's our potential, and it's like a magnet drawing us to the end point. And we have a gear shift lever, which is our focus. The higher that we go with our gear shift lever, the faster we progress. And the more focus we have in our world, the more we're going to progress. Now, I saw this very clearly when I started a home maintenance business. We became the jack of all. We would do any job, go anywhere, anytime. And before long, we were pretty worn out and cash strapped, because taking on all those jobs and learning new skills in every area, it was really quite taxing on our business. And I learnt the value of focus. And I learnt that masters get paid a lot more than jacks. They have a better reputation in the community. And when you focus, people around you respect that. It's an amazing thing. It also allows you to be the most effective with your resources. And one of those resources is yourself. Quite valuable, really, when you think about it. So the kaleidoscope effect is all about shifting your focus, narrowing it, clarifying it, getting it really clear, that you can change your world, that you can become more effective. It's also about perception. And this is where the kaleidoscope comes in. Now, I pulled a kaleidoscope apart to have a look at it. And inside there's beads, coloured beads. There's reflective mirrors. There's a hole in the bottom, which allows light to come in. And at the top, there's a shifter, which changes the positioning of the mirrors. And there's an eyepiece where you can view. The beads represent ourselves. That's our potentials, our skills, our abilities. The mirrors represent the world and how it reflects back to us things about ourselves. The light coming in the bottom is representative of our enlightenment about ourselves, our interpersonal intelligence about where we fit, what energizes us, what we know about ourselves. The shifter is our attitudes and our beliefs and our core values. And the viewer is our self-esteem. Very, very interesting. Now, we can be between shutters where things are not clarified. If you've ever looked into a kaleidoscope and you shift it, there's kind of two positionings. One's total darkness. That's where we're totally ignorant of ourselves and what's going on around us. And the other one is kind of like an unclear vision. It's distorted. And this is what happens when we don't have focus in our lives, when we don't understand ourselves, when we're not listening to the feedback that's coming from the world around us, and we're not enlightened. And sometimes when we're between those shutters, it takes an outside influence to shift us. Like a kaleidoscope, it takes somebody turning the end to get a new picture. So this program's all about helping you to shift your focus, to clarify your vision. And I just know it's going to be great for you. I just want to share a little bit about myself. I'm sorry if that's a bit indulgent of me, but I think it'll help you. You see, I'm a mother of 4. I was working in the home maintenance business when I had my 4th child. I'd been working 10-hour days. I had 4 children then under 5 years of age. So you can imagine my house was pretty full on. We were going through financial hardship because of the birth of our baby. Anyone who's run their own business knows that if you shut the doors for a month and have no cash flow, unless you are very well prepared for it, it can be devastating on your business. And what happened with us is we had to close our business because we just didn't have any money coming in, because my husband had to look after our children while I was nursing a baby. And in that time, I went through postnatal depression. I'm actually a very up person, so it was quite a very difficult time in my own personal journey. And I remember sitting in a chair. I was on medication for 3 days for antidepressants, and sitting there, and the antidepressants just took away my care factor. I was sitting there and the dishes needed to be done, the kids needed to be looked after. I could see, my husband was going through depression at the same time, which was very difficult for me to cope with. And I was just watching the world pass me by. But in those 3 days, I had an epiphany. And what I realized was that this was not how I wanted my life to be. In fact, it depressed me thinking that my life had come to this, because I'd always had such vision and been so successful. I could turn my hand to anything and it turned to gold growing up. So to be in this situation where I was feeling like a failure was really very stressful. And I was sitting there and I had this epiphany, and I had this realization that my life is dependent on me making choices, hard choices, and that if it's going to be, it's up to me. And I started to shift my focus and to look for opportunities of how I could rescue myself from this situation. I made a decision that I didn't want to be depressed, and that I was not going to be depressed, and that I was going to take whatever steps it needed for me to get out of that situation. So when my baby was 6 months old, I decided to go back to work. Up until this point, I'd been a stay-at-home mum, trying to do the right thing by my children. And I became an employment consultant. Within a very short amount of time, I was very successful. I was ranked 4 out of 40 with the business that I worked for, and it was a top-rated job network business. And I saw something amazing happen in me. As I started to give out to others and to focus on them and their benefit, I became well. And this just taught me about focus in our lives. If we are just focusing inwards, our life's out of balance. We need to balance our inward journey with our outward journey. And I also noticed that our attitudes can change. Once I shifted my focus, my attitude changed. And I recently did 12 months in the granny flat at my in-laws, 6 of us living in a 1-bedroom. Hell on earth, yes. But when I compare that to a family of 6 living under a tin shack on a humpy in India, the granny flat was like heaven. And I see that our attitude can really dictate our experience. So the kaleidoscope effect is also about changing our attitude so we can change our experience in life. Now we have core values, and I recently did some training, and another epiphany happened in my life. And what the person suggested was that if you are experiencing the same results, it may be that your core values are not aligned with your actions or your goals. And so I started to think about my goals and to change my core values and my goals so they were aligned. Because we can do the same old, going round and round in circles and wondering why we're not progressing. But unless we have a change in our attitudes, a change in our values, a change in our actions, we're just behaving like insane people. Because the definition of insanity is to do the same things over and expect a different result. So today I encourage you to get the whole program. It's my 7 guiding principles that have worked for me in my life. They're my winning combination, and I've been very successful. I achieved my dreams by age 23, had a standing ovation at Town Hall in Perth, 15,000 people clapping for Hayley. An amazing experience. And I've gone on and recreated myself several times over. I've co-founded Pearls Women's Magazine. I've been involved in government, and I've started Women Can International, which is an amazing new association for women, and it's just taken off like a rocket. So when I say these are winning combination, they're my winning combination, and I'm willing to share them with you. I know they're going to change your life. Get the Kaleidoscope Effect program for yourself and enjoy the journey of shifting your focus to change your world.